Okay, hey everybody, welcome to Draglist Live. This week we're joined by NHRA Fuel Funny Car driver Justin Schriefer. He's one of the hardest working racers in the Nitro pits, grinding it out race to race, chasing consistency at 330 miles an hour. Justin brings a real world look at what it takes to survive in funny car today. Justin Schriefer, welcome to the show. Bill and John here, by the way, folks. We're changing things up a bit. We're going to pull John in a little bit later, right around 8:30 to do a Q&A, but let's jump right in with our guest. Justin, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Bill. I appreciate it very much. This should be a fun night.
Awesome. Looking forward to it. So appreciate the shout out from PRI. So let's start with that. How did the show go for you?
Good. Yeah, it was it's always good over there. You run into all the people that, help you out, and, a lot of product support, that, gives you deals on stuff. And, that's it. We go every year just to keep that relationship and show your face and show how much you appreciate them,
Hmm.
because for somebody like me, without a big sponsorship, it's all them little guys that really mean a lot that help keep you out there.
Right.
So it makes a big difference.
Well, it's
So
great. Yeah, I've only been to one, maybe two, and it was just amazing. This was years and years ago. Actually, was trying to one of the large parts places were talking about a potential sponsorship of the website at the time, and it didn't kind of go all the way through. But it was, sure fun to be out there and rub shoulders, and you meet everybody. It's pretty cool.
uh, yeah, no, I love it out there. Yeah, I've been going for a long time, even back they had it in Florida for a while, so it was a nice little break to go there
Hmm.
for about 5 years. Just go catch some warm weather, give you an excuse to get out of here, and
Right.
'cause we're always plowing snow in the winter, so hopefully, hopefully we can, don't get any snow uh, so we can get out there. So,
Hmm.
but it was nice for 5 years. But it's great that it's back here in Indy. It's kind of that's the hometown where it should be.
Right. It's pretty
So
close, just a couple of hours for you, isn't it, from where you are now?
yeah, about 2.5.
Nice.
It's it was a little longer coming home Saturday, with the snow and the
Right.
bad weather and traffic, but yeah, it's not bad. Just drive careful, be safe.
That's what I'm talking about. Well, just what you try to do in a Nitro Funny Car, but sometimes you always don't get the chance. Tell us what 2025 was like. We saw you out there working hard and putting up some numbers. To tell us about the year.
Well, we had problems at Joliet. That was our first one out, and then trying to work through it. We had actually had problems for like 2 years. Just it was pan pressure, and it was one thing after another. I mean, we tried everything, and even new stuff on the car. I mean, pretty much everything was new besides the heads and superchargers. But we fought that issue and finally figured it out. And when we got to Indy, after we figured it out, it ran 410 right out of the
Nice.
box, and that was first funny car out Friday night. That's that was a really big deal, because you're the first guy out there in the Nitro, so
Hmm.
it's nice. So we were pretty excited, and then the car ran good after that. So
That's
but
awesome. Yeah,
yes,
410s are awesome. That'll that gets you a solid baseline, and then you start tweaking on it a bit.
yeah, yep. But yeah, we qualified there at Indy, and I was happy, and that's my one of my favorite tracks. I mean, Joliet's my hometown, but
Hmm.
Indy's, that's like NASCAR's Daytona 500. It's like if I ever won Indy, that'd be the accomplishment of my life.
That,
I bring my
yeah.
crew over there. I got a bunch of good guys that are from this area, and pretty much most of my guys are from this area, and they're all passionate to it, and they got my back. They'll make sure that this car is 100% safe to go down the track, and we, yeah, I just, I wouldn't want to do without them.
Right.
Even if I got money, I'd con them into going somehow. They'd have to leave their jobs behind, and but no, I got a great bunch of guys, great crew, and
Well, you're holding a really solid tradition of, deep or of Illinois area, Chicago area racers. I mean, just some of the best coming from up around there, and you're just keeping it going. So it's really cool.
yeah, there's quite a few out this way, Bob Bodie and his son are both drivers, and TJ Zizzo, and we're really close with them. And then the Greek, I've been around him quite a few times. Went to a few races, helped him, and then the Creasys,
Yeah.
Dale and Steve Creasy.
Excuse me.
And I was with Dale Creasy for a lot of years. I started helping him in the early '90s, working on the car, and eventually they Dale Sr. and Jr. kind of parted ways and went on their own, and I stuck it out with Dale Sr. and
Hmm.
just became his right hand man, and so we traveled a lot together and went to a lot of races. So it was a good experience. He let me drive like 2004, so yeah, it was a really really good time with him. I learned a lot, you know. So
That's fantastic. Well, and I apologize, folks. I did pick up a little cold. I'm gonna try to time it. I'm gonna try to go on audio or go off audio when I have to cough. I might suck a little bit of sparkling water here. I promise that's what it is. But well, I got you, man. We are here with Justin Schriefer, folks. I wanna drill down on that a bit, but if you haven't done yet, click the thumbs up, click the share button below. Tell your friends we have Justin live. Be sure to subscribe to our channel. Let's get the little Draglist logo down at the bottom. And get your questions and comments ready because John Bachman, Santa Bachman tonight, will lead a racer Q&A with the Draglist Super Crew in the chat bleachers right around 8:30 or so. So get those questions in and questions and comments for Justin, and let's get back to it. So Justin, Mr. Creasy Sr., who I've watched since the 70s, since the Coca-Cola Cavalcade of Stars,
yeah,
tell us about getting started in the Nitro ranks with him.
well, it was I think he was out of it for a while, and then my brother Brett and we went over there one day and looked at some motors, and next thing you know, we're hanging out with them, and uh, just kind of stuck it out with them, and went and helped them at some races. And my brother traveled around with them quite a bit, and I went to less races because I had to work, but I went to quite a few, and then it got to be more and more as time went on,
Mm-hmm.
and but I learned a lot off Dale Senior. He was definitely, before all the computers come out, he was a force to be reckoned with. It didn't matter whether it was the Nitro Funny Car or snowmobiles, whatever the guy touched, he had a feel for it, And I mean, he worked on anything there was to work on. He just had that touch, to go through it. So I learned a lot of old stuff from him, and it you know made a difference in my life. Just knowing, coming from old school into new school. You just
Mm-hmm.
it's definitely a good way to learn. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you
Yeah.
got to know the basics, right? It's like a calculator. It's cool to use a calculator, but you have to be able to do the math first, right? To understand it.
Hmm.
Or
Yeah.
computers now, or the internet now, or AI now. It's getting crazy. Who knows what's coming next? I mean, if they ever let AI into those things, forget about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Back then, it was just, Dale was, yeah, he was something else with what he knew. I remember back then they didn't have a lot of asphalt parking, and all he had was a pickup truck and a Featherlight trailer, a small gooseneck. And that would be something, that little thing would be parked on the asphalt because it was in the top 10 all the time, you know, with Gary Bolger driving,
Yeah.
and people get mad about that, you know, that
Hmm.
little trailer sitting on the asphalt and everybody was in the grass, you know, but yeah, no, he was really something. I give him a lot of credit, and I didn't get to see him much in the Coca-Cola circuit, you know, but I did see him a couple times, but he was good there too, you know. So, and you said you saw some of that, huh?
Yeah, pretty amazing. 75 Thompson Drag Raceway near Cleveland, a little east of Cleveland. Had all those guys, Doug Burgoyce and and Lindemood, from up Detroit way, and pretty amazing. And of course, Bolger was always right there with that big old 73 Ford Mustang called the Tyrant.
Yep.
Uh, but with Dale Creasy and Bolger at the wheel, or other guys as well. Animal Al Marshall. I don't know if you know Al, but
Yep. Hmm.
good stuff.
Yeah. No, that was definitely I thought that was the great days of drag racing, you know, Don Perdome, all them guys back in the day. I mean, that was just hardcore racing for all them guys, you know. Just they tuned by looking at spark plugs in the seat of their pants, you know. So,
Yep.
I remember the Tyrant. He raced here.
Hmm. Wow.
yeah, he did.
It was an awesome funny car.
Yeah, I got the honor of well, we of his cars, you know, that we put. I got the honor of having the name Tyrant, driving the car with it said Tyrant on it, you know, and
Nice.
I thought that was really a big deal, you know, when I pulled out there and I seen, wow, I'm driving the Tyrant, you know. It's like, so
That's right. You're keeping the legend going. Well, let's talk. Speaking of keeping it going, let's talk about 26. What do you got coming up for 2026, Justin?
well, I know two races we're going to go to for sure. That's Joliet and Indy, and we always try to get Norwalk on the schedule somehow, you know, for because we do, you know, try to do the local stuff. And
Hmm.
now, you know, this IHRA thing for the lower, you know, funded teams out there, it's really taken off. I mean, just talking to everybody, you know, just the payouts are as good, and there's they're doing 8th mile racing and this year, and so it's affordable, you know, to go hit some of them too, you know. So,
Yeah.
you
Well,
know,
there's a lot of
that
them pretty close, and of course, not just of course, NHRA just announced that Martin US 131, the place where the Tyrant has raced forever,
yeah,
is going to be in the fall race. That's pretty exciting.
yeah. I knew they bought it, but I didn't know if they actually got a you know, one of the pro races
Hmm.
pushed in for 2026 yet. I didn't
Yeah.
hear
Yeah,
that, but
announced that today. It's going to kick off the countdown.
wow, that's awesome, because that's a really nice track out there. And then I'll tell you what, they pack them in out there. The people really
Yeah.
love their drag racing out there. You
Yeah,
know,
between US 131 and Norwalk, they know how pack a racetrack, don't they?
oh yeah, yeah. I used to go out there when they haven't run out there for a while, but Bobby and Dom Lagana,
Hmm.
buddy of mine, Keith Zellhurt, we drive out there in the car just to go watch them, you know, and help, you know, with whatever we could with the car, you know, give them a hand, and it was really it was fun to be with them. They set a speed record out there with their
Yeah.
top fuel car. So, and them boys are sharp, you know.
Yeah, 338 and a quarter, excuse me, when that was the fastest of all time, even in the quarter or the thousand. Now, of course, these ridiculous folks are going 343 and then 1,000, which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
But man, let's talk about, you're kind of a low buck guy. I don't think you'd be embarrassed for me to say that compared to the rest of these guys running the whole circuit. And it's one of the toughest classes in all of motorsports. So what's the biggest challenge you and your team face weekend to weekend to qualify and go rounds?
Just, you know, it just, you know, even some of it back is a lot of these guys have jobs, you know, and, you know, for us to go out and, you know, it's funding, you know, to try to get the car out. And I, you know, I do a lot of work in the steel mills, my business does, and so it's hard to pull away from when we're busy. And I mean, there's a lot of variable things, you know. One of my best guys, he's a farmer, so he's limited, and I don't, you know, I mean, all of them. I don't want to go racing without any of these guys. I got 12 of them, you know, now, and they're, you know, two father and sons, Bill and Brian Stevenson, and let's see, I got Fonzie Kovar and his son, Dave and Dave, you know, now, and so it's nice to have two father and sons. Keith Zellhart, he's a farmer from Momence, uh, and his brother-in-law Rusty Simpson. I mean, they all play a very important role. Mauricio, my bottom end guy, Mauricio Cruz, he's just come a long way. He's just unbelievable. You know, and they're all mechanical they all got mechanical backgrounds, you know. I mean, every one of them, they've been working on some. Travis Kuzer, he works on trucks, you know, and now we got him started on superchargers, you know. And um, Wayne Masad, it's funny. I mean, he's very mechanical, but he does all my fuel on the car. He's been with me since I think 2012 or something like that, coming to the races, helping. He's my salesman to buy heavy equipment, you know.
Nice.
And I couldn't ask for a better guy ever.
Yeah.
I can call him 24 hours a day, and he'll answer questions or help me get through breakdowns at middle of the night, you know. And he's just amazing guy, and they call him Nitro Mo, you know, because that guy can mix more fuel than whoever's got bills, you know.
Well, you want someone very exacting when they're writing a contract or mixing nitro, don't you?
Yeah. I can trust him 100%. You know, him and I went to the Nitro meeting they had, and he's just always super careful, you know, on everything. You know, just I don't have to worry about nothing he does, you know. So,
That's
and
awesome.
I mean, he helps with stickers, you know. You know, they know how I can tell when they're like 10,000 soft crooked, you know. They
Yeah.
they know how bad I am. So
You got John's eye, right? John's our
yeah.
artist here. He did these posters as he does every week. He does 3 or 4 posters a week. It kills me.
Oh yeah.
It's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Yeah,
Justin, walk us through a good run from your seat. What do you feel? What do you hear? How fast does everything happen at once once the tree drops? Walk us through a run.
well, you know, you pull up to the water box, and you know, your heart starts racing a little bit, you know, because the adrenaline starts flowing, you know. You're just really excited, you know. It's I mean, it's, you know, you look around, you see all the fans and people, you know, and then you're just getting ready for that to turn the starter on and start spraying gas in. It has that nice smooth sound, you know. And as soon as you pull that throttle on and the fuel goes in, it's like we're on, you know. So uh yeah, you just you know, the burnouts, you know, they come pretty nice. The burnouts are fun, you know. Used to do real long burnouts back in the Dale day, you know, because it was like,
Right.
well, if we can't win, we'll outdo them on, you know, on burnouts, you know, just to get some attention. But yeah, you do a burnout, and then hopefully, you know, everything's right, and you back up. And my wife, you know, she backed me up for the longest time, and Rebecca, and get back there, and you get her shifted back into forward, and you just put the clutch in, and you watch everybody doing what they're supposed to be doing, you know. And I'm always watching that throttle stop, because I've had a couple times where didn't have radios, and you know, I was pointing at it and pointing at it, and nobody caught on, you know. And it's like body came down, and it was like somebody just closed the lid on a coffin, you know. It was
Oh
like,
no.
it's like, well, we're not going anywhere, you know. So, but yeah, and then get staged up there, you know, and just roll up and get staged, and then let the clutch out and just break it in. And as soon as you hit the gas, it's like I don't know how to explain the feeling, but it's like so fast that it doesn't seem possible to go that fast, you know, like
Right.
tires can't really get that much traction to accelerate you that hard, you know. And if you're on a really good run, as long as everybody's, you know, they got you pulled in straight and you're down the track, I like to try to let it roll a little bit on its own to loosen up the chassis and just guide that we're down the track. And then as soon as you hit the gas on it, if it ever all the cylinders lit up, it's a lot easier to handle than it is the ones where it starts putting holes out and
Right.
shoves you around, you know. Kind of tells you, you know, it's not happy, so it's gonna let you know, you know. So going down the track, uh, it's hard to explain vision sometimes. You know, it's coming at you, you know, so fast that you know you're just there's a vibration and shake, and sometimes you know the clutch. Sometimes the clutch dust is moving around in here, and uh, you know, it's sometimes you can see pretty good, and then sometimes you can't see worth a darn. And
Right.
then night runs are a little harder if there's not enough light or something, you know. But the G forces are incredible, you know. And you get down and you get a full run in. It's like the most happiest feeling, you know. As long as the parachutes come out and you can get
Right.
stopped, and,
Right.
you know. But I've had a few of them close calls, but knock on wood, I haven't been in the sand traps yet, but I've always gotten it stopped
Right.
with the brakes, you know. But it does pucker you up when the chutes don't come out, and you gotta be on top of it right away, or
Did a little bouncing down there, huh?
yeah, you get the bounce and you gotta let it settle out. So they say that they're running like 300 feet a second, so you run out of time in a hurry, you know, if you get that bouncing going or get your shoots out too late, you know. So,
Right.
but yeah, it's always got that, you know, after you get through, and if you got enough momentum to coast around, you got that. There's that sound of the rear end turning, coming around, and you got the air bottle still, the air still kind of going, and it's got that certain sound about it that, you know, it's like you're pretty happy it was a good run, and you know. So yeah, it's exciting.
I love it.
Oh,
Well,
I wish I could. I wish everybody could. Wish they had something to sit in it and simulate it, but I don't think they could ever simulate it. You know, just
that would be tops on the Christmas list, but yeah, that'd be hard to do.
yeah. And then there's times, you know, you're in a staging lane, you know, and you're uh, it's 95 degrees out, and you're sitting in there, and it's like one oil down after another, you know, and you're like
Right.
just sweating, you know. And it's like, you know, a lot of people probably wouldn't be able to handle the heat and the exhaustion, you know. My body goes into like a, a sweat, you know. All of a sudden it starts getting cold and into a sweat.
Right.
I
Yeah.
can't really explain it, but it starts cooling you off, and you're pretty soaked by the time you get down to the end, you know.
Right.
But
Well, thank
yeah.
goodness we do that. That's what's helped us survive as a species, I think, over the years. Our
Oh yeah.
ability to sweat and chase animals.
Mm-hmm. Then
And
it's always great, you know. We get a good run, you know, see my guys, you know, happy, and you know, some of them come down, you know, and see them at the pit, you know, everybody's pretty excited, pumped up, you know. Had some good runs, and we run good, you know. We got uh US Nationals, you know. We're still hanging on since 2019, the fastest funny car field in NHRA history.
woohoo!
So we're still hanging on to that.
And
I
you're a
was
part
number
of it.
six. Yeah, I'm part of it still. I'm still having a hard time believing that it hasn't been broken by
Yeah.
now.
What was
But
that ET on the bump spot there?
mine was a 4 flat with a 2.
Wow.
So
I'm
I
surprised by that too, but there's not that many of them out there. It's so expensive and so difficult to do, and not everybody races every race.
yeah.
And so yeah.
Yeah, no, it was a great weekend for us there. John Smith, everybody calls him Bodie.
Yeah.
He was my crew chief back then. And um, he did he's a really sharp guy. I mean, he digs right in when it needs to be. When things go wrong, he'll jump right in and just, as a crew chief, he knows so much. It's hard to, you know, you just got to get out of his way when
Yeah.
things are wrong. Get out of his way, and he'll get it going. He
They'll figure
always
it out.
does. Yeah, and that was a good, a good race for us because we both wanted it really bad. For we got fastest. We made fastest. Well, they made the U.S. national history for
Mhm.
fastest ET average, and
Wow.
because we had 5 consecutive runs in the low 4s, and every run just kept getting faster, and we've done 5 in a row, and so they gave us fastest ET average,
Yeah.
and they told me we're still carrying that yet. So I have a hard time believing it ain't broke, but you'd have to have 5 really good runs
Yeah.
to beat that.
You got to go race in Europe because when they raced in the 80s, 90s, that's how they determined their champion. It was your average ET over the weekend.
Oh,
And
really?
so some of the alcohol cars even ran because those guys are consistent as hell, and then the nitro cars would go fly or they would, go up and smoke or something. But pretty
Yeah.
crazy.
I didn't know that's how they did it there, for
Oh,
the
not
ET
maybe not
average
now, but at times they
at
have done
times.
that over some of their events. We have great, I love following the whole world, but I wish we had some. I need to fly over there. Is what I need to do. But well,
Yeah,
Justin,
I've always wanted to go over and see it, or be a part of it. But I know, like I say, that was a big weekend for us. Al Reinhardt come around and said, "Hey,
awesome.
you guys know you're the fastest funny car in U.S. national history?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" It's like I had no idea that there was a ET average. So yeah, that was and we're still carrying it, so that's good. So we got 3 nice good stats, that and fastest funny car field, and then fastest 16th qualifier. So
I love it. You're listening to it right here, folks.
yeah, and we
Well,
want to be a part of it. We want to be the first 3-second funny car field.
yeah,
So we were
let's get
close.
that done. Well,
Yeah.
Justin, let's go to John and the folks in our chat bleachers. We stole that term from Dina Parisi, the Pro Mod World Champ. I love it. And John, what do folks have to say out there? Any questions or comments for Justin?
Yes, we have quite a few. There, we're here from coast to coast tonight, and uh, let's see. Rob McCabe said, "I know Justin ran some NHRA and IHRA races back then." He said he's sharing the live feed now on his Facebook page. I didn't know you could do that.
Thank you,
And
brother.
he also said, "I
Wow.
wonder if Justin could possibly make the trip to US 131 for the national event."
I definitely want to be there. Is
Yeah.
it?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Ford Purley said it's the fastest track in Michigan.
Yeah, I definitely want to go to that track for sure. I love that track, and that makes me really excited that that they're going to have a national event there.
Mm-hmm.
So tell them thanks for listening in. I appreciate it very much. And that's pretty cool that he now acknowledged me in the IHRA days. Back with running with Dale still back then. That was that's something we did when uh, you know our chassis wouldn't certify for NHRA and that, and
Mm-hmm.
so we ran that for a couple years, and that was it was a lot of fun. There's a lot of good people over there.
You bet. Well, we got you listed. You know, you're part of the drag lists for everything you've done. So, well, maybe forward you some of that stuff so you can revisit those memories.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, I think all you can get.
What
Well,
else is happening there, John?
Kira Steinbach said, "This is awesome and it is amazing." And Brendan Patina asked, Justin, any thoughts on coming to Norwalk in 2026 for the NHRA race?
Yes, there's thoughts. Yes. Yeah, I just got to get some more funding, but that's on my bucket list there for next year. So
I know what you mean.
yeah, tell them to come by and tell them they make sure they all stop by and see us.
Right. The Ford Purley said, Justin, do you get bounced around inside the car a lot, or is it mostly smooth on a run?
It depends on how good the car is running, and if you get if you're getting tire shake, yeah, you get bounced around pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
I've chattered my teeth pretty hard. I chipped one of my teeth one time inside there, just from the bouncing, and yeah, you can get rattled up pretty good on the good runs. When you got a good run, it's unbelievable the difference on how one of these cars run when everything is right, and you got a good groove down the track, and you're in it, and you're not trying to fight staying in it because you were aimed right, lined up perfect. Man, it's unbelievable how much difference it is,
Uh-huh.
But when you got a car that's not running good, yeah, it'll beat you around in there pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen him bounce around going down the track, and I was thinking, man, I bet that guy is going to have a headache later.
Well, yeah, yeah, you definitely get it in there, especially if you don't get out of it fast enough. When it starts to jumping and you don't catch it just right away, yeah, it'll smack your head off the roll cage. I got some pretty good scratches on my helmet from hitting the top.
Well, I was going to ask you if you ever had any notable incidents driving your funny cars, or is everything on the up and up safety wise, and you have good safe runs with that car?
Do we what now? Have good safe runs?
Did you ever have to get a chance to bounce off the guardrails or anything, or has it always been pretty?
Not yet. I've been fortunate. I've always caught it in time. I had my first time crossing over at Indy. Uh, that was I was in the left lane, and Alex Laughlin was in the right lane, and it put two holes out. And there was a battery on the track down about 3/4 track, and it put two holes out, and it just shoved me so hard, so fast, and I let off of it. But when I let off, the car slid. Uh, it felt like I was on ice. It just shot across there, slid. It hooked up right in the center of his lane. It hooked up, and it kind of got into one of them death wobbles. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of them or not, but being the wheels were cocked, and when it hit that, it got into that, and I had to get my arms on it to try to get it to stop. And at that point, I was like, just stay right here. I just stayed where I was at because I figured I'm not hit yet, so I figured that would give him opportunity to go around me if he's already made that decision, because you don't really know if I turned back, I would have turned right into him.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I stayed right where I was at, because nobody was hit, and I made that choice, and luckily it was the right choice. But it can always be the wrong choice, but in that incident it was the right choice, and I was on pretty good speed when I going by him. So I think I put crossing over before the 1,000 foot and crossing his line first. I put up a time for him for 411. 411, I think it was 290 something, you know. So I actually put the time up in his lane.
Oh man.
Yeah.
But you know, it's, you know, it was a wow moment for everybody, you know. And you go down, I went down, you know, talked to him, and you know, you apologize. It's nothing you can do, you know. It's funny, they're funny cars, so you
Right.
know, it's happened to the best of them out there, you know.
Yeah, that's for sure.
I don't think people realize the amount of power that every piston is pushing. When you drop two on one side, the other side just shoves you over.
Yeah, I mean, I've drove them down with one hole out, you know, and they fight you going down, and I've managed to, most of the time, even if sometimes it'll get you out of the groove, and then you don't make it. But that's first time like two holes just dropped right now, and it was unbelievable how fast that thing just shoved me. You know, I mean, it was just like right now, shoved me over, let off the gas, and you know, it just kept sliding because the momentum was already there, you know.
Right.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah, there's a lot of yeah, I don't know if people realize how much thrust there is, actual push, you know, because the headers on the car, you know, they used to be like 45 degrees, and they kept laying them back and laying them back and laying them back, and you know, they got to where they were uncontrollable because the downforce went away, and they were like a rocket propulsion. They would go fast, but you
Right.
didn't have any control of the car. If it put a hole out, you were gone one way or gone into the wall, you know, because so some guys got them down. I think I heard like 32 degrees. So they made us bring them back to, I most I ever had was 40, and I'm minor at 40. That's the legal amount, but
Mhm.
a lot of guys were running 35 for a while, and it just, the cars were all over the place, just too unsafe, you know. And so
Right.
I was glad NHRA brought them back, you know, and just to make it more safe driving down there, you know,
Pretty
figure out
cool.
another way to go faster.
That's when Robert Height went 479 won way back then with the laid back headers. And of course, now that with the new set, we've got back to that after a couple of years, you know, but
Right.
you never
You know,
can't slow drag racers down for long.
Matt Hagan said that when they had the laid back headers, that it was like the car was skating around, like you were saying, it was on ice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's right.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly right. Yeah, the downforce went away, you know, because when they were 45 degrees, it was pushing down on the car a lot, you know, so they were steerable. And once they got them laid way back, I mean, like I say, some of them guys were running like 35 degrees for a while, or 32 even, I heard. And you know, you don't always hear everybody's secret what's going on. And
Mm-hmm.
you
Yeah.
know, I heard laid back headers were way back, you know, back, you know, early 2000s, they were trying some, you know, but I don't, I don't know whatever happened to it, but it's, I'm just glad they got a ruling on the 40 degree headers right now. That's,
Right. You need
they
that
can stay.
downforce.
Yeah.
John, anybody else with another question or a comment?
Well, yeah. Kevin RI1T. See, we get the at icon and then the code name for the poster. He asked if you ever had an engine explode. Can't imagine what that must be like in the car.
Yeah. 2019, I had a bad one. I got a set of heads that were not put together right, that I bought, and the seats all were falling out. We saved them for race day. We were running, we qualified. It was at Indy. We qualified, and we're running Jack Beckman, and the seats were coming loose in the head, and I did the burnout, and it was acting a little funny, and you know, got the car staged, and as soon as I hit the gas, that motor was filling up with fuel.
Uh,
And as soon as I hit the gas, that's the one where Tony Pedregon and them said they could feel it up in building because it only went maybe about 30, 40 feet and blew up. I mean, it was a huge explosion. You can catch that on, I think, YouTube and that, but it gave me a brain concussion. You know, I wound up, I had to go to the hospital and get checked out because we were driving home and felt like the side of my head was going to blow out. You know, just it felt like that big vein there was just going to blow any minute. So wound up being off work for a while just because of I had a brain concussion from the explosion and it blew the firewall and the window out and
oh man,
busted, it ripped the front end of the car that bent the pipe, the chassis up in the air. And that body, well, probably because I didn't have any momentum, you know, just taking off. But usually I think, you know, the air gets under the body when they blow up and then it just tries to take them off and get rid of all the explosion. But that one, the body didn't give up. It hung right on there and it did a lot of damage, but a lot of damage to me because it messed me up for a while. I missed some work but the brain concussion kind of came in as the day went on. Putting stuff away, I was having lots of headaches and some black spots going in my eyes. You know, you just kind of just want to get packed up and get out of there, you know. And so we had to make a couple stops on the way home, and we got home and I said I got to do something because there's definitely something wrong. So yeah, the explosions, they can be really bad in them cars. You know, this that's
sounds pretty heavy, man. That's incredible. But I can imagine the impact of the shock wave of that explosion probably knocked you back, you know, and what can you do, you know?
Yeah, I could describe it like driving over a landmine or something, you know, the explosion's up and it raised all four wheels off the ground on the explosion just in that, 30 feet. And yeah, it's unbelievable. You know, it made the NHRA highlight reels of the 5 worst explosions. So I was number 2. So,
oh man.
Well, you're on all kinds of best of lists, but you don't want that one. I'm so glad that you recovered pretty quickly.
Yeah, no, doing good now, you know. Now you look back at it as well, you know, it's like yeah, that was me, you know. So but at the time, you know, it hurt, you know. That's probably $150,000 explosion, you know. Took out my new body and ruined the new supercharger and manifolds, and I mean, just the list goes on and on. You know, for me, 150 grand hit like that takes a lot out of my sales. You know,
You bet.
It takes a lot to get everything back, but
just true.
I got good guys, and we hit it hard back here at the shop, little town of Grant Park. I got a race shop here, and
well, I'm getting a little bit of internet issues right there. There we are. We're back. I think
up here, John, we work on it. You know, we get it ready to go, and then we all. Looks like it froze up. I think it might have froze up a little bit.
It did a little bit, but we got the gist. And the guys in Grant Park got it put back together through true grit and hard work, and here we are.
Oh yeah. And like I said, I got a great crew. You know, I got Nitro Dave Miller. He's been been. Yeah, I know. I'm sure you probably heard of Dave Miller.
You bet. Yeah.
He's been with. He was with Clay Milliken a lot of years, all them championships at NHRA, and yeah, he's a good guy and very talented. He does all our racks for us. He was doing left side head and racks, and then yeah, he's got shoulder problems and that. So we get some younger guys on there now, you know, and he kind of helps assist on the left side, but he builds all the racks, and he lives down south, and it's great to have him on the team, because one less thing we don't have to think about, and he's always trying to think of something that might help.
Yeah, well, you bet. He's an innovator. He's running that shorty top fuel dragster and qualifying at the IHRA and NHRA shows with that little thing. And
and the Dave Miller? No,
yeah,
we're thinking of a different Dave Miller.
different Dave Miller. Oh, okay, got it.
Yeah, Nitro Dave. We call him Nitro, but he was with Clay Milliken for I don't know how many years, but I know they got 20, 30 championships or something. It's
yeah.
So he was their engine guy over there.
Got it. Yeah, Clay was dominant. I appreciate it. Well, hello, Dave, and there's two Dave Millers we know of now. That's a pretty common name, I guess. John, anybody else with a thought, sir?
We are caught up.
Appreciate it. Well, thanks for running Q&A, John. Thanks to our super crew and the Dale Creasy chat bleachers out there. You guys are amazing.
It's all good, man. Everybody's having a great time tonight. This is a great interview, Justin.
Oh, hey, thanks.
Well, we are. So we're rolling up on about 12 minutes to go. I don't know if you've got any extra time, Justin, but if we can wrap, or we got some other chatting to do if you have some time.
Oh, I got all the time in the world right now.
Awesome.
My little girl's at tumbling tonight, and so my wife and the girl, they went to tumbling. So she was wanting to kind of jump in and sit by me a little bit,
She's welcome.
Yeah, she's not home right now, but she did. Let me see here. Just so she can see, she brought me a toy. She wanted to show that on her, so I told her.
Is that Nitro Bunny? Hold her up. Let's have a look.
Yes, yeah.
Oh, Nitro Birdie.
Yeah, So we'll call it that.
All
She'll
right.
be excited when she gets to see it. So I told her I'd do that for her.
Yeah,
she's yeah, she's good at. She's my little hot rod. We got little cars and tractors she rides around on. So she's going to be the upcoming. I think she might be the upcoming Nitro Funny Car girl driver.
Let's do it. Oh, so much more to talk about. I guess the one thing we'll want to do, and you've covered your crew that helped you out so much, and talked about those guys. But is there any sponsors that you'd like to mention and say hello to while we have you on?
Yeah. I'd like to mention a couple of Anthony Nolte. He's a laborer at work. He helped us at a couple races last year. And Samuel Lemus, he was doing left side head. And I just want to, I get on these things, and I forget my own crews because I got so many guys, it's, so, and like I said, father and sons, the Fonzie, that he got that name. He's a funny car driver. And
is that Frank Kovar that we're talking about there?
Huh?
Frank Kovar? Is that?
Yeah, Dave Kovar.
Dave Kovar.
Dave and Dave Jr. Yeah,
that's right. Right.
Yeah,
got it.
They're racers, and Bill and Brian Stevenson, the automotive and golf cars. They're racers. I mean, really good racers too. So like I said, I got a talent of mechanics and racers. So it's I'm in good hands. It just really makes me feel good. And my wife Rebecca, she does cooks for us, and so we got to give her some ink there. And so yeah, hopefully I didn't forget anybody. That's
well, we'll bring it back on. If there's anybody we missed, we can bring it back on.
Oh, I do have to get a new crew chief. I had Rip Reynolds, and so we lost Rip Reynolds to Cruz Pedregon.
I heard about that. So man, that's
yeah. Everybody really loves Rip. So we're thinking that he's gonna maybe go to one race with Cruz and then had enough and come back. Is
that the hope?
That's the hope. Yeah, get back in the real world. You might want to just come back here be humble with us, So,
Gotcha.
but no, he's very, very talented guy, and like I said, I've been blessed with some crew chiefs that we had, Rip Reynolds, and we had one race. We had Mike Kern. He tunes a lot of stuff out there. Him. TJ Zizzle's car. He helped us at a race, and the guys really loved him. He's really very talented, and like I say, John Smith, Bodie. We love him to death. He had a lot of irons in the fire. His daughter's racing now, and they're doing good with that. They got a really nice operation and doing really good. And plus, John gets in the funny car sometimes. So it's just
It's kind of put together a pickup team as best you can with all your great guys.
Yeah, we'll get it figured out.
Sounds so great. Well, Justin, where can folks find you online or elsewhere? Where can they follow along with Justin Schriefer?
Probably basically on Facebook is all, my racing page, I'm not I need to get on there more than I do, but that probably Facebook, would be the page.
Got it. Well, you do a lot.
I was going to start something with TikTok, and get something going there. But my excavating page is on Facebook, so
that's where I got all the graphics for all the images for your graphics.
I like how you put all that together. That's really.
Thank you.
I mean, I was really tickled when I seen all that. The trucks and the bulldozer and.
Well, we'll get you a high res version of that you can take and put on a poster. John is always kindly offers that to our guests.
Yeah, I can do that for you. I can give you an 11x17 high res prints out for about $1 at Quick Copy.
Yeah, let's do it.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'll put it in my. I'd like to get one of that and put it in my memorabilia room.
Great.
We'll get her done. Well, Justin Schriefer, thanks so much for joining us tonight. It's been a lot of fun. You showcased a lot of. I mean, the explosion description is something that I haven't heard, and that's the worst one I've ever heard of personally. I know that the Doug and others have had some pretty bad ones over the years. But
yeah, you can look it up on YouTube or on my Facebook page and find it. So it's at Indy Jack Beckman and first round race day.
Wow.
So yeah, it's always an honor to run Jack Beckman. He's been a mentor to me. All the years. He's always, no matter what, I'm sitting in the car. It's pretty much guaranteed he's going to come up and wish you luck or give you some kind of high five from a distance. So
he's a real gentleman, and one thing a lot of people don't know is he's a real historian of the sport. And there's a handful of guys who really know it well. Brian Loans and Brett Kepner and others, but Jack Beckman's one of them. He's becoming that, and I'd love to have him as part of that team, because trying to remember all this stuff is hard.
Yeah.
Me and my cousin ran into Jack in the pits here at Houston, and he took us into his transporter, and we had a cup of coffee with him and hung out. And we never met the guy before. He was just as nice as he is, like we were old friends, and he won that event that day too.
He was always behind the car when I was running. He always stood behind the car and watched out, especially when I was driving with Dale, but there was one time that the body was Dale's car, was a black Camaro body, and they let the body down, but when they let it down, it was sitting on the car crooked. And I'm sitting in the car, and everybody walked away, and I'm like, come on, somebody don't see that this body looks like it's about ready to fall off, And I'm sitting there with the clutch in and holding it and just waiting and waiting. And then all of a sudden, Jack was back there and he's pointing it out to everybody. And I'm sitting in the car, and then they told me to shut the car off, right? And I'm like, I was so mad. And I hit the throttles, I shut it off, and the car wound up like they do, it leaned out, and it was coming down, and all of a sudden the body went kerplunk like this, and I
Wow.
grabbed the throttles and pulled, and I caught it just in time, and the car fired back up, and they motioned me, hurry up, get
Oh,
back in
good.
there.
Wow.
Yeah, I caught it just in time, and I'm always remember he comes, he goes, "How in the heck did you catch that thing so fast?" He said, "I can't believe it," So I said,
I
"When
can
you're
hear that.
desperate."
I can hear that in my mind right now.
Yeah.
Wow, man.
But yeah, so he's been, like I say, he's been a great guy for me to all the years, and there's just a lot of great guys out there. I feel like I've gotten a lot of people's respect. They've always talked good to me or been really supportive, and I think they like me, unless maybe I intimidate them for size or something, I don't know, but no,
Well,
they've been really good,
as a funny car racer, you got a little bit of size, I have to say. Most of those guys are pretty small, but you got it going on.
Yeah, 240. I need to lose a little weight. But
We're right there, man. We're in the same category. I love it. It's
yeah.
239.4 this morning. So there we go.
How much were you?
239.4.
Oh, I'm right there with you.
They're digital,
I
man. Come on, brother. I know we got Christmas coming up, so what are you gonna do? It's gonna be
get bigger. Yeah, yeah. No, I just went and got my physical today. NHRA and NHRA physical today. So everything was flying
perfect.
colors, and I'm good to go for next year. So
I love it.
everything, yeah. So I'm excited. We'll
Well,
get this.
Justin Schriefer, it's been so much fun to visit with you tonight. Thanks for sharing your insights and have a happy holiday season. Merry Christmas. Is it Merry Christmas or Happy Hanukkah? One's happening now and the next and one's in a week. If I get to eat at both of them, I'm good to go. I'm ready to go.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, have Merry Christmas to you guys too, John. You guys been great to talk to, and I really enjoyed this. So
Us
yeah,
too.
Thanks, Justin.
Thank you so much and have a great 2026. Hopefully we'll run into you one of these days. If not, we'll send Miss K out after you. But
yeah.
we'll
And anybody listening out there, thanks for joining us. I appreciate everybody out there. Just really do. It's just been the
They're here
fans
all
are the greatest. They
they're here all the way across the country.
That's awesome. Tell them I'm going to be over there in Europe someday. I'm going to race over there
there
too.
you go. We'll let him know. We'll tell him we got a guy who ran four flats in a row, 4 flats, I think.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That'll
So
scare them all.
yeah,
Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, Justin Schriefer making life happen, kind of as a working man and spending a whole bunch of money and doing it through true grit. Thank you so much, sir, for visiting with us. Have a great holiday. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. We'll see you somewhere down the road.
yep. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to everybody there, you guys, and deeply appreciate everything.
Thanks,
So
ladies
have
and
a good
gentlemen,
night.
Justin Schriefer. Bye-bye, sir.
Bye bye.
All right, let's say farewell to Justin and let's turn it over to JB, aka Santa, for this week's JB's Take and Racer of the Week. John, take it away, sir. Oops, mute. You're still on mute, sir.
Sorry about that. My pick for Racer of the Week is Autumn de Rosette. Autumn was recommended to me by our producer, Kay Thurkelson. Thanks, Kay. Autumn has been drag racing since she was 9 years old, launching her career by winning the very first race she ever entered. She's based out of Hahira, Georgia, and she built a strong junior career that includes 3 Wallies and a milestone NHRA Race of Champions win. When she stepped up into her current car, a 2000.
Thanks for watching.
Oh, yeah, man. It's all good. And when she stepped up to her current car, a 2003 Worthy dragster with a 565 big block, Autumn kept the momentum rolling, securing her first win after only 3 runs in the car. Alongside her racing journey, she's built her own business designing fire suits specifically for women in motorsports called Race Her. Autumn's goal is to turn Race Her into a trusted, industry-leading brand that supports women across every segment of the sport, not just drag racing, by providing safety equipment they can rely on with confidence. Autumn said all her appreciation and support goes out to her dad and Charlotte with Pro One Safety and Simpson Racing Equipment for their foundational support and partnership as she grows both her racing program and her business. Well, Autumn de Rosette, thanks for the great info on your racing history and this great business you're running. We wish you good luck, safe racing, and the best of times in the future. Everybody stay safe and well. You are the most important part of this show, and we love you all. It's a great way to spend an hour together on a Monday night. We'll see you all next time. Merry Christmas. God bless America. Back to you, BP.
Thank you, John, and great stuff and great racer of the week. Awesome stuff. Let's talk about some special notice events. January 10th through 11th, the Drag Fest, indoor drag racing showcase up in Lebanon, Pennsylvania. Hope to see you there. And then shortly after that, the very next weekend, in about the same place, the Foot Brake Practice Tree Winter Nationals, part of the Cars for Kids fundraising deal with Lenny Loddick's place. Posters all over the place, and there's one up on Draglist right now. Upcoming guest, well, next week we don't have one. We're taking off for the Christmas week. My daughter Emily gets here Friday night from Chi-Town, right where our guest was from tonight. And we're going to take the week and have a really great family time. And we hope that you do the same. And then we're back on December 29th for Teddy J. Say, the Say It Loud Motorsports, another Nitro Funny Car racer out there taking on the big guys. Excuse me. And that's pretty exciting. Got a couple of and Miss K is working on all the following months and weeks, and so looking forward to having those folks on the show. We're not going to list them all this time. I think I mentioned this earlier, but if not, I kind of working with a YouTube coach. We really want to grow the Draglist channel. He's making a couple of recommendations for how we can streamline the show and how we can get a lot more viewers. So we're very interested in that. And you guys saw a little bit of the changes tonight. We're going to take a week off and then come back with a few more, including musical intros and maybe even some credits flowing at the end instead of kind of going through and saying all the stuff that I typically say at the end. The guy showed me some really interesting analysis on when people come in and when people drop. And we want to make sure that everybody's here for the entire show and enjoys the entire show. So you'll see a couple more changes coming for 2026. Of course, consulted with John and with Kay, and we're all sort of in agreement. And what I really want to talk about is we're looking to doing more shows, more lives, more 15-minute shows to talk about how to tune a car, how to race a car, how to get a sponsor, things that you can actually use as a racer. And we're going to keep the great interview show going. So very excited about that. Excuse me. Going to do a bunch of the smaller reels based on subsets of our shows. So 2 to 3 minutes of really great stuff tonight. I was thinking as we talked with Justin, oh my gosh, parts of that where he talked about the explosion would be perfect in a TikTok reel. And so we're going to be working all that stuff going forward in 2026. Maybe a new logo. Johnny B is working hard on that. And very excited to bring that to you. But a little bit tonight, and not as much with Teddy. But then when we come back in 2026, we're gonna start fresh, bringing you the same great guests, but maybe a little bit different format. So thanks for listening on that. Those we lost this week, we did lose the great Howard Anderson on the 14th. Howard was one of the great modern gasser racers. Of course, he raced way back in the day as well. But from the late 90s to the early teens, or sorry, the late teens, as of 2017, he was the quickest and fastest car in that category. These were the great supercharged gassers that basically were running close to pro mod times with a very significant set of limitations on them. But Howard Anderson, very well loved, will definitely be missed. Out of Applegate, California. Farewell to Howard Anderson, and our condolences to his family and many friends. With that, we'll kind of do a wrap. John, any final thoughts on the show before we say farewell for the holiday season?
Well, Justin was a wonderful guest, and he's a great guy. You know, he's more grassroots level with guys like us
Mhm.
than the top corporate sponsored pros. You know, he's living it, man, and it was great hearing a guy like us talk about what he's doing, and I wish him nothing but the best.
You bet. Yeah, I love following along with guys like that, and and he's just his heart is in it. You can tell. I mean, talk about taking $150,000 hit
Oh
in
man.
medical issues, and then coming back and putting it back together, man. True grit. Anyway, thank you, John. I do want to thank you, my brother, for all your terrific support this year and every week. I want to thank Justin Schriefer, of course, for coming on. He was fantastic. Kay Turkelson, who just spent the weekend at PRI along with Nitro Alley. And there's a very cute video today where Kay was talking to a funny car racer. Nitro Alley was like photobombing in the background and making faces. It was kind of cute. Check that out. Kay has been putting tons of stuff up on the Draglist Facebook page. I've asked her today, maybe she could slip some of that up on this channel. That would be very cool. Thanks, of course, to Pete Mariello, our West Coast producer, Rob McCabe for working so hard on the lists, David Oakes for the photos, Melba Shore for the retro photos and stats, Ron Toombs for overall management of the list, John Mernon II, who's been putting up the fantastic photos on every Draglist entry. And of course, thanks to all the great photographers who have authorized us to use their work to help keep drag racing history going. And of course, thanks to Jeff Gilder, the guy who got us started back in 2010 and did the radio version of the show for so many years. And of course, thanks in heaven to Danny White, our brother who helped us do so much here. Folks, remember to click the like, the share, and subscribe to the Drag Racing List channel. We're gonna try to take it to the moon. We're gonna try to get a lot more viewers, but you guys are the people that got us started. So thank you. Um, some changes, as I noted tonight. We have more in store for 26 with some really cool things and extra shows. So stay tuned. Check in on draglist.com every day to see what's new. Find us on the Radio Bob Network, which showcases our shows. And then finally, we'll see you on December 29th for Teddy Say, Nitro Funny Car Racer. Ladies and gentlemen, happy holidays. Happy Hanukkah this week. Merry Christmas. And then we'll see you just before the new year. Have a wonderful, wonderful holiday season with your friends and family. And on behalf of John and Kay and Rob and everyone else and our guest, Justin, we'll see you later. Bye bye.